Hello, ladies, and welcome back to another episode of Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. We are now on episode number 134. So excited about that. And I also want to share with you today and thank our sponsor, Dr. Melissa Balazan. Are you in pain? Are you suffering from anxiety or depression? Do you suffer from constipation? Are you being treated for a chronic condition such as high blood pressure or high cholesterol? Are you tired of being put on medication after medication? Medication is not good for us, peoples. Are you finally ready to ditch the pills and discover the root cause? At Ask Dr. Melissa, we help our clients shift from a plethora of pills to just a few truly necessary ones. Dr. Melissa has 52,000 hours of clinical hours and 26 years as a pharmacist. Together, she will help you peel back the Band-Aids and get rid of the unnecessary things that are just treating symptoms. It's time to get to the root cause. Together, we leverage the established benefits of Eastern and Western medicines focused on the true root cause of the issue and address it from the core. So be ready to schedule your time with Ask Dr. Melissa and do a consult today at askdrmelissa.net. So happy to have her sponsoring our episode today with Lisa Kirkwood, who is going to be our guest for today. Before I get to Lisa, I just want to ask all of you, how are you preparing for the last quarter in your business? What are you doing to prepare for 2022? Have you started business planning yet? Have you started the process of looking at what worked really well for you in 2021? What didn't work well for you in 2021? And how do you want to shift moving into 2022? This is my gold nugget for you today to be able to start looking at your business. And if you're interested in learning more about how you can work directly with someone, especially working with me, whether it be in leadupforwomen.com, or at colleenbiggs.net, I can help you with being able to figure out where you want to go in 2022. And clarity is what we all need. And I've been doing that for 22 years. So thank you so much for all of you for a wonderful year at Lead Up for Women in 2021. We have grown exponentially. We are excited to have our members and continue to help you be seen, be heard, and be visible. So Lisa, let's welcome Lisa to the show today. She's a photographer, a writer, an author, an entrepreneur, speaker, diversity and inclusion expert, also a filmmaker. We haven't had a filmmaker here on our show, and the author of the sci-fi epic series, The Terran Chronicles, a Voyager in Chronospace, owner of the virtual stores with custom artwork, merchandise, inspired again by The Terran Chronicles. So thank you so much, Lisa, for being with us today. It's just such an honor to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me. Likewise.
So I hear an accent you must share with us. Where's the accent come from?
That comes all the way from Eastern Europe, and that would be Romania.
So do you live in Romania now?
No, ma'am. I immigrated to the US 17 years ago in 2004. So I've been here since.
And where do you live in the States?
Right now, I'm based in Los Angeles. I moved to California 3 years ago from Midwest.
Oh, wonderful. That's a big change, moving from the Midwest to California. And did you move to California because of your filmmaking career?
Correct.
Talk to us through that transition.
Yes, I came to the States with this big American dream in mind, which was to make movies. And I've had that, believe it or not, since I was 13 years old. It was shortly after the anti-communist revolution, and we were importing foreign culture in Romania left and right, among which American movies. And I lived close to a movie theater downtown my home city. And ever since I made that move, I was a regular in the movie theater, and I dreamed to make movies since I was 13 years old. I would go there like 2-3 times a week, and I'm like, this is what I do, what I want to do with my life, and here I am today.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and we're so happy that you moved to the States. And I see that in so many people. Even my daughter-in-law and her children are from the Netherlands, and same. They built a business here in the States and see such a bigger dream, you know, of who they can be and what they can build. And I just love those opportunities for all of you. So talk to me about how you got started in this. You know, how did you become a photographer and a writer? Which one came first? The speaker, the entrepreneur, the author? You know, growing up in Romania, what you said you had a dream, you know, in coming to the States. So which one came first?
I would say if I go all the way back, I think the speaker came first because that was the first thing I did when I came into the world. But I discovered my gift for storytelling since I was in my early childhood. And I did not pursue that, of course, on a professional level. But whenever I was giving any sort of speech in school, I noticed that I was having people's ear and I was, drawing attention. So I kept building on that. And since I loved reading so much, when I was in high school, I wrote a really big composition, kind of like philosophical, but my writing experience goes all the way back to grade school because we had a teacher who was so big on creative writing and composition in grade school. So we had a great start on that. As far as photography, I would say I picked it up around 2000, 2001 before I went to Greece. I spent one full month in Greece, and to go to that beautiful country without a trained photographer's eye and without a reliable camera, that would not be smart because there's so much to to photograph and to observe. So that's the photography. The filmmaking is a more recent endeavor. As a matter of fact, I launched my first short film on YouTube just about 2 weeks ago. So it was in the works for a long time, but before the short film came out, I also merchandised the sci-fi series that's currently on Amazon. So that there was a logical progression. In 2017, I published my work on Amazon, the sci-fi series. Then in 2020, which was shortly before Christmas last year, I merchandised the series. And just to give you an example, I think I can show this to the camera.
Yeah.
I have the merchandise here, and it's all science fiction based, all inspired by the series. And I think I can stand up and you can see this one says, "Keep calm and travel through space-time."
I love that
T-shirt.
So,
Yeah. So
why did you choose the genre of sci-fi? What was the choice on that? Where did that come from? Was that something from your childhood or?
yes, I think you're an empath, Colleen. It was a natural transition because my favorite genre of all times was fantasy. So from fantasy to sci-fi is not that big of a transition. And I started writing again. I was doing creative writing since single digits, but to write professionally, I would say the past decade or so. I also took screenwriting classes, and in 2017, I published the work on Amazon. And then again, I'm proud of the accomplishment because this approach is a little unusual, to merchandise first and then to make the movie. But I branded it with the Star Voyager brand and the Terran Chronicles, and here we are today. We have a good package to put together and at some point present to interested investors.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And what is, I'm thinking of what your day to day looks like. So, what has been your path on, you had this dream from being a child, you moved to the United States, you do writing, you do photography, and then that's just a natural progression that you set into film. What does it look like from here? What does your future look like? What is your vision for what this turns into for you?
I will continue to build on what I have already. So we have the IP published, we have the merchandise, we have the first short film in the series. As of now, I have about 10 short film projects in the works. So I work on that every day. And to prepare for Hollywood per se, I took a lot of trainings online and on my own. To give you an idea, I was reading tens of books on the Hollywood industry, like 50 or 60 to date that I can remember. 2 digits. So the fun part is that after I read all that, lo and behold, COVID hit, and all that stuff either crumbled or went away or changed or something, because COVID changed everything. So I had to re-engineer the whole process and reinvent myself, but we're moving forward. So I would say that it was maybe a blessing in disguise, because it opened up a lot more opportunities in the virtual space. So this is where we're going to continue.
Oh, I would always say it's a blessing in disguise. And I say that because, you know, so many, I think the biggest hurdle for women, in all the interviews that I've done, and the women that I've been around, the women that I work closely in my inner circles with and in my coaching with, they have ideas, and, you know, they have some, you know, skills and knowledge and experience that only they can have. They are what makes themselves unique, right? They leave their best impression. And what's interesting about what you said was you read all of these books to figure out all about Hollywood, right? Because that's the direction you were going. And I want to just share that message with our listeners that are listening today, which is you can do, when we say you can do or be anyone that you want to be, the truth is you can. All you need to do is just take the first step, right? You need to know the what before you know the how, and take the first step. And then it just continues from there. So along the way, besides the pandemic, Lisa, what has been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned about yourself in doing all of this and becoming this person that you are today?
I would say the biggest lesson was be flexible, because if you try to bring the world together and people together on your terms, you're in for a big disappointment. So be flexible, because opportunities present themselves in unusual ways. And if you don't let go of control and you think this is the one direction only, the one and only, again, you're gonna probably have some sort of heartbreak, which I kind of experienced, to tell you the truth, but I'm past that. I would say every creative journey has its hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the challenges was to adapt all the information that by the way, I did research on the subject matter on sci-fi, space-time traveling, aliens and UFOs for 3 decades, until I was able to crystallize all that information into a viable product that I then published. I'm still working on it. I'm working on sequels. It's a work in progress, but it was a challenge to adapt from a novel that has a certain format and allows for a lot more details to a screenplay format, which is the movie format that you want to follow. So in the end, I came up with a hybrid. My work on Amazon, it's a script book. It has all the details of a novel, but the format of a screenplay. So I am not afraid to be an innovator and a trailblazer, because this is not a genre that has been done before, the script book. Usually, to my knowledge, people do the movie first and then the merchandise. I did it the other way around, but I was right in my hunch, because I've been selling merchandise before I released the big Hollywood style movie, even before I did the first short film. So that's the direction that I'm going on.
Yeah. And the message I got from that was create your dream your way. You know, we're always, you know, there's that thought of what everyone else is going to think. And I love that you said, you know, when you're building the dream, you know, you really need to do it on your terms, right? And it's so interesting to me how so many individuals wait. We talk about this a lot on the show. Wait for permission of others. Wait for someone else to tell them, okay, now you can do it that way, you know, or now, you know, you can start the business that you want to start. And so many women are waiting for something else to happen in between, and there really is no need to do that, especially with the information that you've shared with us today, and how you've just done it differently than everyone else. In Hollywood, they create the story, they create the film, they create the merchandise. You created the merchandise to plant the seeds, then created the short film. And that's so interesting to me that you did it in that direction. And how has that been working for you?
To begin with, I was aware that this is a big task. This is a huge elephant to be eaten. And to your point, if you have such a big dream, prepare to approach it in small steps, because victories will be small along the way. It's a process, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And if you want results overnight, you will be disappointed again. This is more of a slow and steady wins the race. It's been years in the works. Now it's finally bearing fruits. And this is my most important piece of advice that I'd like to give to your listeners. Be patient, because things have their own time. Meanwhile, celebrate your small victories along the way until the big wave hits. But don't expect things to change overnight, because even if they do, more often than not, you're not going to be ready for that sudden change. So let yourself get used to a different lifestyle by accomplishing a smaller objective every day or every week, and you will see things coming into place. When you let go of things and you let yourself be open, that's the main point on the law of attraction. That's when big things really start to happen.
Oh man, that is great advice. You just have to slow and steady. Put your, it's like climbing Mount Everest, like we always talk about, right? You just do it day by day, step by step, and you'll eventually reach the top. But if you just stare at Mount Everest, like, how am I going to get to the top? And all you're focused on is kind of the bigger picture and really not focused on the day to day and just taking one step at a time. And I love the celebrating the victories along the way, Lisa. That is so important that we celebrate our victories along the way, ladies. If you didn't hear that, that's Dave Ramsey talks about that a lot. When you're really going through that feat of becoming debt free, it's, it takes a lot of energy, a lot of focus, gazelle-like intensity, I say, is what it takes to build a business. And when you have gazelle-like intensity, you have to celebrate all of the wins along the way, or you will burn out. And don't expect it overnight. Know that it's a process of growth. And when we finally see someone come in the limelight, this is what we share quite often on here, Lisa. It's not an overnight success. They're a 10-year success, right? They're a 5-year success. They've been building this for a long time. It took me a lot of years to build Lead Up for Women. It took a lot of years to build a followership and a listenership on our podcast. It doesn't just happen overnight. You don't become a podcast host and then have a line of people lined up to want to be on your show and, have everything together and, 10,000 listeners or 40,000 listeners overnight. You got to build that. And that's just pushing through every day and perseverance. But I love the celebration along the way, Lisa. So thank you for sharing that with us. So talk to us. How can we find your short film on YouTube? Where's the best community for our listeners to be able to follow you, get involved in what you're doing, especially those, I have a client that I know loves sci-fi. So she's definitely going to be interested to find out how she can follow you and where she can get into your community.
Yes, ma'am. One way to become familiar with the brand is actually pretty easy, because with the advent of this print-on-demand merchandise and all this global economy, that was the coolest part ever. When I merchandise the project, right now, if you go on Google and search a Voyager in Chronospace shopping, that will pull up the virtual stores with the t-shirt that I wear and the mug that I showed you and all that stuff. So for fans of sci-fi projects who want to build brand awareness, this is one way to become familiar with the merchandise and the entertainment product itself. Another way, there is, since my brand is the Star Voyager, let's see if I can show it here. It's in this corner. All of them are branded the Star Voyager. There is a group on Facebook. So Facebook.com/groups/the Star Voyager. And that's a community, a small community that I'm building also around this project. You can find me on LinkedIn, Lisa E. Kirkwood. Just send a connect request and you'll find me there. So these are some of the many ways you can connect with myself. So and also YouTube. Don't forget to go to YouTube and watch Odyssey of the Space-Time Travelers, because that's the channel on the Star Voyager channel. And you can subscribe, you can leave comments, you can engage with the content. So that's another way. There are plenty of ways nowadays with the social media. It's not like you go unknown or under the radar. If you do, you're either being banned or something is wrong or you want to withdraw from the world. But other than that, everything is public, everything is visible.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Lisa, thank you so much. And for all of those of you out there that are interested at being able to follow Lisa on all of these channels and be able to get a little bit more connected with her, watch her her short film that she has out there. We have all of that right here at your fingertips for you to be able to follow her and learn a little bit more about her. And ladies, remember the wisdom that Lisa shared today, which was you just have to take it one day at a time, one bite at a time, and celebrate your successes along the way. So Lisa, thank you so much for that advice that you gave our listeners today, because it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what it is that you are passionate about, where you're leaning into your purpose, how you're bringing laughter, if you're a comedian, or adventure or assistance, or how you're impacting the world. Know that it matters. And we need your greatness in this world. So lean into it, celebrate it, do it one day at a time. And remember, ladies, you are the only you that has ever been. You are the only you that will ever be. So how you navigate this path and pioneer your path moving forward is up to you. Give yourself permission today to take one step in front of the other and celebrate your successes along the way. Thank you for the great advice, Lisa. And ladies, thanks for joining us today. And of course, we'll be back and we see you next week. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.